the Seattle Seahawks went out there and have made their first Super Bowl since 2015. Shout out Sam Darnold for playing an unbelievable game. 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he was just dotting the Rams all night. And JSN, he has emerged as one of the best receivers in the league, and this game was no different. However, for the Rams, despite the fact that Matthew Stafford also had 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, they end up coming up short. And after this devastating loss, will Matthew Stafford retire? So early in the game, the Rams came out and had a 3-and-out. Great stop from the Seahawks, and that leads us to the situation we are in right now. Still tied 0-0. 3rd and 5, Seattle with the football with 12 minutes and 51 seconds left in the first quarter. And Rashim Shaheed again early in the game getting a shot out, but heading up into this game over the last 5 previous games, Shaheed has had 10 total receiving yards coming in. And one thing Seattle and offensive coordinator Kliff Kubiak did was all this motioning. So you're going to see Cooper Kupp come into the backfield, the motion out here. And all that is trying to do is really distract these guys, get their eyes up. And now what you're going to see here on the route is Kupp go up and take this here. That brings him down, and that leaves you this one-on-one opportunity with Shaheed down the field. Just absolutely great play calling there from Kliff Kubiak. But then, obviously, Darnold hitting the throw. Shaheed almost taking off into the end zone. But, yeah, that play right there, so huge, right? Like the ability to go out there, set that big play up, get that bomb, like we talked about with all that motioning, and then Darnold being able to go out there and hit that pass. Like, that is stuff right there that Darnold heading into the game, we didn't know if he could do that, if he would, you know what I mean, just be good under pressure in those moments. But you help him out a lot when you get him that one-on-one go route. And Darnold, to his credit, went out there and started off the game hot, hitting a huge pass there for the Seahawks. And then to make it better, they come right back out, and you see Kenneth Walker go to the right side, just using pure speed and getting a big touchdown, as now the Seahawks come out on fire, getting a stop on their first drive, and now up 7-0 in this one. And in this game, there was just so much going on. First off, next drive, you get Puka going down the field and catching a huge bomb, but the Rams were stopped, and they held to a field goal there. Later as well, the Rams moving down the field, down 10-3 now, and Stafford sacked. He couldn't quite get it done there, trying to run around, and that ends up leading to a field goal as well. But the Rams get another stop, and then on offense, you see a big pass, boom, to Puka. I mean, that's just an incredible throw with like 4 people around him, and then that leads to the Rams' first touchdown of the game, to where they can now take a 13-10 lead, and like we said, score their first touchdown. So here we go. Like we said, Rams up 13-10, 2nd and 10 now in this one, and just 44 seconds left in the second quarter. And for JSN, this game would actually be the most yards that he's had, receiving yards that he's had in a single game this year since October. That's right. Everyone, please remember the name Kliff Kubiak. He will be a head coach at a place near you, and what you're going to see is this wheel motion. Boom, and what that does is that kicks out this corner, and now you have JSN just running that beautiful route down the middle of the field. And the way he runs this route. So there's a quote. Jamar Chase said it. He didn't quite understand how this guy keeps getting open, and you guys already know the motion is coming. But just look at the different ins and out cuts from JSN here, right? He's gonna go out, then he's gonna kind of fake go up a little bit, and then kind of curve back. And the way that he's able to just find the opening in defenses, he really does read defenses, especially this is a zone, these zones, like he's a quarterback. Like that little last cut, I can't stress enough how much this little fake up drew this safety up. There's a safety back here, and he's just trying to create the seam for Sam Darnold to throw the ball. Look at that cut up, boom. And it's like it's not a hard cut. It's a smooth kind of motion, but that ends up being 42 yards and a big play there for JSN. And this drive was so crazy to me because later, on a few plays later, he's actually wide open, and Sam Darnold misses. It's not an easy pass, but he misses a touchdown on that one. But still, with Cliff Kubiak working and the way that JSN runs these routes, he gets a wide open touchdown on the left side. Beautiful cut out on that corner route. And I mean, JSN and Kubiak, you're seeing and Darnold as well, obviously, give Darnold credit, but you're seeing three people really on the same page every single play on what they need to get done out there on the field. So with that happening right before half, the Seahawks come out, but the Rams defense finally makes a play. Jared Verse getting a huge sack, sending Sam Darnold back, and now they have to punt the ball. So despite them being up 17-13, this is a 4th and 20, and the Seahawks with their defense kind of looking a little shaky against Stafford really this whole season. 12-17 left in the third. They are punting it away. However, Xavier Smith, the Rams punt returner, he has just now started playing for the team starting December 29th. So let's see what he does. And I'm not going to lie, guys, football is such a complicated sport, so many things going on, but this is one of the plays that can absolutely doom you. And I said during this, I don't think there's a more annoying thing than whatever that was, but then a shaky punt returner. And right there, Xavier Smith, I mean, we'll look at it again. What's he doing? He falls down and still tries to catch the ball. And I got to be honest. So Xavier Smith, right, not obviously that plays the disaster. And we'll show you what that leads to. But my issue with this was the Rams not seeing this happen earlier. Because if you guys remember earlier in the game, he actually bobbled another punt, almost fumbled it, and I know you guys can't see it, but in my group chat I said Kyle Williams alert, and the reason is because those who don't know, the San Francisco 49ers had a punt returner named Kyle Williams who also did the same thing, and they lost to the Giants because he fumbled it twice on punt returns. The second someone bobbles the first punt return of the game, I'm getting them out of there. Unfortunately, they did not do it, and the Rams would pay the price. As right after this, Bobo would go out and get a nice tutty. By the way, this throw from Sam Darnold, an impressive throw. He's under pressure. He's got to throw it. He's got to trust it down the middle of the field. But he just threw a beautiful pass. And Bobo with the big touchdown. And now the Seahawks are up 24-13 when it should be 17-13 Hawks. But Matthew Stafford and the Rams with the football. And I got to be honest with you guys, watching this game, Matthew Stafford was so impressive because at this point, a lot of teams against that Seattle defense would have definitely folded as much as they fly. But they went down the field so fast, first on the big throw to Parkinson down the field, and then Devontae Adams absolutely cooking Job, who was, by the way, talking smack earlier in the game. More on that from the Seattle corners later. And then Devontae on a nasty route, getting a big touchdown. And so now the Rams, here they are, scoring a touchdown like that in 4 plays. However, as great as that was from the Rams, the Seattle Seahawks offense was doing the same stuff. First, you get a big 3rd and 9 on a great play call to Cooper Kupp, who catches it and is able to make a guy miss, get a first down. Then you see JSN on just a nice little bubble screen. And I mean, they were putting JSN all over the place in the backfield, and that just is going to create problems for any defense. And again, Cliff Kubiak in this game was absolutely cooking. So now at this point, the Hawks still up 24-20. This one, another 3rd down, 3rd and 3 this time, with 4 minutes and 32 seconds left in the 3rd quarter of this game. And for Cooper Kupp, throughout the entire season, he has had his career low with only 2 touchdown catches. And I mean, you already know it. First off, man, let's just see what Kubiak's doing up here. He's just trying to give Sam Darnold a little look. So you're going to see Kenneth Walker go out motion. Psyche's going to come back, and then that tells him what the defense is. But this is what we got. Cooper Kupp running the inside square in and then not breaking a tackle, but getting by people to get that touchdown. You see all these guys running off. That's a great job using that run route deep. And then Cooper Kupp right down the middle of the field. So yeah, you're going to see this rub there that takes these defenders. And then Cooper Kupp running under. You have JSN over here. You know he's going to get all that attention. So that is just, again, a great play, well executed. The read from Darnold on time, on target. and that touchdown would be huge as the Seattle Seahawks now go back up by double digits. And I gotta be honest with you guys, this game was so fun. For my money, one of the best games of the year, and the reason was every time the Seahawks scored, the Rams would just come right back out with an explosive play. Matthew Stafford with a huge pass down the field. However, it looked like the Seahawks would go out and get off of the field, but Woolen, their cornerback, was talking way too much smack to the sideline, got hit with a flag. I thought it was kind of garbage, but it wasn't even saved in the All-22 film, so he was doing it for a long time. And then the next play, he gets cooked on a deep route by Puka Nacua. Don't know what he was waiting for when he's got outside leverage, and Puka just a nasty route on that one. And then Seattle getting the ball back, Kitchens with a huge sack, so the Rams now get a big stop and get off of the field finally. And now for the Rams on this current drive that we're going to look at, Parkinson yet again, another 16-yard catch to help them move down the field. Keep in mind they are only down by 4 at this point. And now Stafford on a big 4th and 1. Didn't know Stafford had this in him, shaking off a tackler and getting a first down. And Stafford this game truly was amazing. But yet here we go again. The Hawks up 31-27 with another 4th down, this time a 4th and 4 with 4 minutes and 59 seconds left in the 4th quarter. And I actually agreed with this decision live to go for this and not kick a field goal just because of how bad their defense has been. However, for the Seahawks, they have only let up over 25 points 3 times this year, including the postseason, and 2 of those times were to Matthew Stafford, Puka, Devontae, Sean McVay, and this Rams offense. And this is really what this game has all come down to here. It's just masterminds, McVay, Macdonald on this side, and McVay has owned most of the battle. But what you're going to see here is Seattle putting everybody up on the line. This kind of confuses Stafford a little bit, and nothing ends up being open. He throws it incomplete, and Seattle will go out and get the stop. And what really happens here is if they send this all-out pressure, you're kind of expecting this guy to get open. But look at these guys just peel back, right? Fake the pressure, and then you get a double team on the running back on that side, right? So I think Stafford might have been looking there. That wasn't open. What you're going to see as well down here is you're going to see a little zig, and they double up on that. And the only guy they left one-on-one was Parkinson. I think, yeah, they're doubling Puka. They're doubling Kyron. And just nothing really there. Now, maybe he could have had Devontae up here on this kind of corner. But even so, I think he might have won that battle. But even so, that's a tough read with all of that stuff going on. So great stop there from Mike Macdonald and the Hawks to get off the field. And then throughout the rest of the game, what you're going to see is a 3rd and 7 now for the Seahawks. And yet again, Cooper Kupp and the Seattle Seahawks come through with Darnold in them. And then they get down the field with 1 minute and 10 seconds left. I actually agree with this decision as the Rams have used all their timeouts early. Thought that was a little curious from the Rams. But with 1:10, they run the ball. They just want to waste the clock down. And now the Rams with 2 plays left. They get, the first completion is just kind of crazy from Stafford. And he's just been doing that all game. He was really locked in. They spike it, and then they get another play, a deep crosser over there to Puka. And Puka catches it. And I thought live, when you see that running ref, normally that means that the clock is still running. I thought he was out of bounds. But watching the slow-mo and the replay, he was, in fact, in bounds. That would have been crazy to see Stafford with a Hail Mary attempt from 50 yards out. But they didn't quite come through, and the Seahawks will be going to the Super Bowl as the Rams season ends in rough fashion. And Stafford was on the podium contemplating retirement.